Thanks for joining me tonight as I dive into what I envision the United States will look like in 2035. My name is McKenna. Here's a quick overview of what I'll be discussing tonight. So we'll do an introduction, then I will give you a general idea of what I envision the US looking like. Then I will circle back to my thoughts on classical liberalism before I discuss the changes that I am excited to see and the changes I'm not so excited to see, plus their implications on business. And then I'll bring it home and talk about how all of this will affect my future professionally and personally. So since 2020, the country has been marked by four obviously dramatic events. I could tell you about them, but I think the pictures will say more. So this is, of course, the coronavirus pandemic. This is the racial reckoning that our country faced around the same time. This definitely symbolizes the contentious 2020 election, as well as some of the other contentious transfers of power we've had, including the midterm election that gave us this hilarious New York Post cover that I just love. And of course, this speaks to the ongoing saber rattling. Now, with all of that in mind, what do we imagine the US will look like? Here's a glimpse. So I imagine there will be quite a few demographic changes that will affect the workplace, as well as additional social and cultural shifts and economic transformations. So thinking of those demographic changes in the workplace first, age will be an important factor here. So the US population will continue its present decline because so many American adults are choosing to have fewer children or none at all. And by 2035, the baby boomer generation will no longer be in the workforce and Gen X will be heading towards retirement. This will definitely lead to a higher demand for working age adults, so I imagine the job market will favor job seekers. And tech will also impact the workplace, so once we have more effective tech and automation, it will reduce redundancies and streamline processes, especially in manufacturing. The tech sector will definitely continue to boom due to rising demand for tech solutions. Traditional professions like mine, marketing, but also medicine, law, all of that will still be relevant, but they'll begin to benefit more from this better technology. And then the technological changes that I expect to happen to transportation and shipping will change and increase the need for workers in these industries. This graphic speaks to the increasing demand for tech jobs. So all but one has seen a pretty significant jump even just since 2021 in the demand for workers. So this is really going to be indicative of what we'll see in 2035. As far as social and cultural shifts go, DEI will continue to be important, but it's going to be a very volatile period for the social side of politics. I imagine there will be a lot of one step forward, but two steps backward. Education is also important to these social and cultural shifts. Because the number of people earning undergraduate degrees continues to rise, it will become even more desirable to have additional degrees in order to stand out in the workplace. That said, the cost will still continue to grow, but more on that later. In terms of economic transformations, again, tech is going to play a driving force here. So if you recall Moore's Law, which essentially says that over time, technological advancements rapidly become quicker, more efficient, and more affordable, that will really play out in business as tech will begin to permeate every aspect of business and then, of course, transform the economy. Likewise, sustainability will become increasingly important, as the effects of climate change continue to harm our planet and communities. Renewable solutions will become the only solutions. So companies and investors who brought these solutions to market will see a lot of financial rewards. Now let's revisit classical liberalism, which I identified as the theory that I agree with most. So that theory is really marked by 6 different factors. So individual liberty and freedom, free markets and economic freedom, limited government and fiscal responsibility, equality of opportunity, social tolerance and pluralism, and the importance of the individual. With that in mind, we'll dive into the welcome changes. So I've identified 2 main changes that I'm excited to see. So the first being advancements in technology, the second being a new and growing emphasis on sustainability and CSR. As I touched on, in 2035, tech will be even more efficient and convenient. It will offer data-driven solutions by leveraging more sophisticated personalization techniques and data analysis, and we'll really consume tech in every aspect of our lives, even more than we do now. So by 2035, I know we're hoping to hit some milestones as far as electric vehicles go, and then smart homes will probably be more prevalent. So that would be technology kind of like Alexa that just powers your whole house. And then, just to get into something specific, e-readers, digital publications will totally replace physical media. And this graphic really just shows what a smart home might look like. So as you can see, there's just tech at every corner, making your life easier. And why are these advancements valuable to classical liberalism? They really empower individuals to achieve, earn, and exercise control over their lives. This leads to greater economic prosperity by creating new jobs, products, and services. Innovation and progress ultimately are key indicators of successful societal development. And how will this impact businesses? They'll definitely embrace the change. They'll have to leverage technology in order to streamline their operations, improve efficiency, and reach broader markets. They'll adapt the tech voluntarily to benefit their practices, maintain a competitive edge, and drive progress. Consumers will definitely benefit from this too. The tech will give them access to more information, businesses, products, services, etc. They'll have just the freedom of choice. And these convenient solutions will definitely make their lives easier. As you can see in this image, this person just has an easier time shopping at the grocery store by leveraging an app. But just one caveat I wanted to note is that with tech, I know there often comes some concerns about data privacy. So in order for consumers to really benefit here, we just need to keep an eye that they're not being exploited in that sense. And then the second change I'm really excited about is a growing emphasis on sustainability and CSR. So in 2035, I expect CSR to really be the norm in business. Consumers will favor businesses that meaningfully incorporate these practices, and businesses will be motivated to be agents of positive change. This might look like initiatives to reduce the carbon footprint and community outreach or give back. So why is CSR valuable to classical liberalism? It ensures transparency between businesses and consumers so that both parties can make informed decisions. It's also a positive contribution to society and the planet, which can benefit individuals' inalienable rights of life, liberty, and property. CSR is typically defined and regulated by businesses themselves, which signals that there isn't a need for government intervention. Instead, CSR emphasizes individual responsibility. So this change will impact businesses because it enhances their brand reputation and drives consumer loyalty, plus it is the right thing to do. And this will impact consumers because it's favorable to support businesses that align with their values. And again, it's the right thing to do. Then moving on to the feared changes. So the 2 main ones here being the increased social and political division and economic inequality. In 2035, I'm predicting that contentious elections will be commonplace, leading to even more hostile transfers of power. It will maybe be impossible to be a moderate politician, unfortunately, and I expect there to be politicking everywhere. Money as speech is going to be really powerful too. And then legislation and decisions that are made will probably be volatile and frequently swing between extremes depending on which party is in power. And with that, I think the culture wars will definitely still be ongoing. And why will this threaten classical liberalism? The divisions and turmoil can really erode individuals' fundamental right to liberty. They can impede the free exchange of ideas and discourse, and they often call for more government intervention. The lack of social cohesion ultimately makes it difficult to maintain a stable and prosperous society. This will impact businesses because it can create uncertainty in the market and in government regulation. Depending on which side of an argument they fall on, companies might be vilified or viewed as polarizing. And instability is really never good for business. And this will impact consumers because they might not want to do business with companies who are inconsistent with their values. Plus, the instability and uncertainty may hinder their access or ability to purchase certain products and services. And the market volatility can also financially harm them. Economic inequality will unfortunately continue to be a problem in 2035. The wealth gap will continue to grow. So just note that this graphic shows 2013 as the most recent date, but I think it was really helpful to show just how rapidly the wealth gap is growing, and it's safe to say that it has grown even more since 2013. So it should just give us an idea of what another 10 years will look like too. Likewise, real estate will continue to get even more expensive. My generation and generations to come will have a difficult time buying a home. And as we've been talking about a lot, the cost of college tuition will continue to rise, similar to the projections we're seeing below. And why does the increasing economic inequality threaten classical liberalism? It really impedes social mobility and equality of opportunity. It threatens fair competition in business, which can often signal the existence of monopolies. It disrupts the distribution of political power too. And since property is a key component of liberal ideals, if citizens can't afford to own property, they really can't achieve their inalienable rights. This impacts business because the excessive inequality hurts potential customers' purchasing power, which then hurts profits. Inequality can also mean instability in the financial and job markets. Economic strain may also stifle innovation and entrepreneurship. This impacts consumers because it results in unequal access to basic needs like housing, food, healthcare, and education, and it makes it more difficult to plan for the future and for retirement. Finally, it stifles social mobility. Now, thinking of myself in the future and how I'm going to deal with the changes I'm projecting. So first, without sounding corny, I'm going to vote and make sure that my priorities are reflected in the people who are making it into office and the things that are being legislated on. I want to make sure I'm having a say to hopefully kind of maybe not realize all of the changes that I'm fearing. But then diving into specifics, so professionally, I'll benefit as a marketer. Technology will really help my career. I'll be able to develop more effective strategies in order to understand and appeal to my customers. And I'm excited to use business as a force for good by leveraging CSR. And sustainability is a big priority of mine, so I'm excited to see that reflected in business too. But how will I be set back? Political volatility that's going to threaten the economy could definitely threaten my job too. I'm sure, a recession is definitely not impossible by 2035. And then, as I mentioned, with more professionals earning advanced degrees and entering the job market, it will definitely become increasingly competitive, even more so than it is now, which is kind of hard to imagine. But then, personally, if CSR and sustainability measures are widely implemented, I'll be able to enjoy a healthier planet, a healthier community, and then technology that makes my life easier means that I can focus on things I actually enjoy if there is a technologically advanced solution to laundry, it means I never have to do it again and I can spend time on anything else. But how I reset back, I talked about this in This I Believe too, but the thought of buying a home really weighs on me. I'm stressed about it. I don't know when it will happen, if it will be able to happen. It's just so expensive and it seems so far away. And that definitely brings me to my concerns about the cost of living, especially when I start a family, paying for all of that in general, plus paying for college at the projections that we looked at earlier. It's definitely scary. And then, just being a female in the US, unfortunately, there are people who want to take away my rights or don't think I should have autonomy over my body, and it's kind of insulting. It's actually really insulting. So that definitely does not make me hopeful for the future of like the social rights in our country. And then just to bring it home, this like idea of our democracy being threatened. I know we've talked about it a lot and how corny it is, but when you see legislation being put forward that's going to threaten voting rights and that kind of stuff, that really is a threat to our democracy, because people are trying to take away our voice and our ability to contribute and make decisions that affect not only our country, but us as individuals and our businesses. And that's it from me. Thank you so much for listening. Thanks for a great class. You've definitely made me think differently about a lot of things, and this has been a fun exercise. I wish I could say I'm a little more hopeful than I actually am, but that's okay. Again, that's why we have to vote, and it's good to think about things like this kind of from 30,000 feet in the air. But again, thank you, and have a great rest of your summer.